The Indiana Hoosiers must do this to avoid their season being over tonight.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen each and every day, your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. Today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Check them all out today at NissanUSA.com. Thank you so much for being here as the Indiana Hoosiers getting set to face off against the Penn State Nittany Lions for the third time this season. The Hoosiers have to do this simple thing to keep their season alive. Win the game. It's win or go home from here on out for the Indiana Hoosiers. We'll talk about that, this game coming up tonight. Keys to the game and reactions to what's been going on around the Big Ten and college basketball already during Champ Week. If you're here on the YouTube channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's easy. We're so close to 1,900 subscribers. I'd love for you to be a part of it. It's free. Takes just one tap. If you're on audio, thank you so much for being there. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Indiana basketball, after getting the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament, they were awaiting their fate. They were awaiting who they were going to be playing in the second round of the Big Ten tournament. And now we know we're playing Penn State. We're playing the Penn State Nittany Lions after they beat Michigan in their game last night, 66-57. Was not a pretty game by any means, but hey, a win is a win. They were up by 11 at the half, and they ended up winning it by 9. You look at this game quickly before we start talking about what it's going to take for us to win this game. You look at what Penn State did. Nothing overly crazy. You had Hicks go off for 20. You had a couple of other players in double digits as well. Baldwin Jr. had 17. Indiana, we know him very well. But they shot okay. They only shot 38%, 41 from 3, which is pretty good, 7 of 17. And 79% from the free throw line, but they only scored 66 points. That's exactly where we want to play them at, right? That's exactly where Indiana wants them to be when we play them tonight. And we know that this has not been a good matchup for us this season. Penn State beat us at home right here in Bloomington, 85-71 way back when. And then we went to their place for revenge. What'd they do? Well, they beat us again, 83-74. Now, I know that we were not 100% into some of those situations. I know we did not play well in those situations. So many things and factors played into those games, but I don't care. I'm not worried about those games anymore. I'm not worried about being 0-2 versus that Penn State team because we are better than that Penn State team. Like, so much better. It's ridiculous. We even have to say that statement and put that statement into the world for you to hear. Like, yeah, Indiana basketball is better than Penn State basketball every single day, every single hour, every single minute of every day. Like, that's always a thing. Always. I don't care. And so I don't care that they've beaten us twice this season. I'm not worried about it. I think we win tonight. I really do. It's a late one. Be ready to stay up. We'll have a reaction episode go up for you tonight here on Locked On Hoosiers. But I'm not worried about this game. Penn State favored tonight. How does that make you feel, Hoosiers fans? Penn State favored by 1.5 tonight over Indiana. Matchup predictor on ESPN, it's pretty much right down the middle according to their analytics. 50.8% for Penn State, 49.2% for the Hoosiers. So you could say 51-49 if you want to make it easy math. We're just better, man. And at this point, it's win or go home. Both of these teams are in that situation. Pretty much all the teams playing today are in that situation. Penn State, yeah, obviously, they're just now 500. Like, they're not really playing for a whole lot. But we're playing for our tournament lives. And, I mean, yeah, again, technically so are they, but they're not hoping for that. We are. We're still hoping to make a run to the NCAA tournament. And we know that the only way to do that is to win out in the Big Ten tournament. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to take 4 games in 4 days. And you got to start with this one right now. This could be the final time that you and I sit here and talk about a game coming up tonight, right? This could be the final previewing of a game that we talk about, that we do for the season. That's sad, man. That's depressing a little bit. I don't want it to end, and I don't think you want it to either. As long as everybody's healthy tonight, and we'll get to keys to the game coming up shortly. I know Trey Galloway, the knee thing is kind of sketchy right now with what happened late in the year and not really knowing a whole lot of information about that. I've heard some things on the back end, but I don't know what to expect tonight. I really don't. And look, Penn State has already played a game, and there's a huge argument to whether it benefits somebody that has played their first game already in the tournament of any conference, Big Ten, SEC, Big East, whatever, right? Does it benefit the team that's already played a game when they then come in and play the next day against a team that's just getting started? Or does it benefit that team that's just getting started because they haven't had to play a game already? I think, I'll be honest with you, I think early on a Thursday like today, I think it benefits a team like Penn State, the team that's already played once. Now they're fresh. Now they're ready. They're used to the arena there in Minneapolis. Like, they've already done the things, gone through the routine. They've shaken off the first game jitters. Look, any coach will tell you, in these conference tournaments, the first game is the toughest. The first one's the hardest to win. Once you get that one under your belt, then you've got a little mojo, you're feeling comfortable, and you're off and running at that point. So, yeah, I think Penn State does have the advantage tonight in that aspect of they've already played, they've already gotten a win. In Indiana, while we are on a 4-game win streak, we've had some days off. How do we respond? How do we come off and play with some days off? We better be prepared and we better be ready because this is a must-win game. I know it's a stupid statement, but it's true. If you don't win, your season is done. There is no NCAA tournament. There is no more games. You're out. You're done. Then we get into off-season talk, and I'm not ready to do that just yet. I'm not ready for that right now. With everything that's been going on, I just want to watch some more basketball with this Indiana team because I think they're really fun. When they're playing good, they're a really fun bunch to watch. And they play Penn State tonight on the Big Ten Network. Gonna be a good one. Hoosiers and the Nittany Lions. Can Indiana get a little comeback, a little revenge against that Nittany Lions team who swept them for the first time? Oh, goodness, in a long time. Hoosiers and Nittany Lions tonight, final game of the Big Ten tournament on Thursday. Keys to the game when we come back on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Nissan. This week's March Madness bracket highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest, just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs. These guys were able to take it to the next level. The Houston Cougars can only be described as an armada. This top-seeded team is a hardcore as it gets out there, so it's no wonder they're expected to land a top seed in the tournament after their first season in the Big 12. Yeah, they were winning when they weren't in Power 5 basketball. What'd they do? They went to the Big 12. Oh, don't worry. All they did was win it in their first season, and they're probably going to win the Big 12 tournament as well. That's a really good, really dangerous Houston team that is probably the favorite to win the national title. That's why, yeah, they're being compared to the Nissan Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Welcome back to Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here, making this your go-to spot, part of your daily routine, your first listen each and every day. Be sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. I'll give you a live update as we look at it right now on the subscriber count. 1,877, man. We're so close to that 1,900. Then we'll make a push to 2,000. It's free. You become a part of the family, and you know every time we post a new video, so help us out with that. Thank you so much for being on the audio version as well. Keys to the game tonight for Indiana and Penn State. Look, when you played these jokers the last 2 times, here were the scores. Ready? You gave up 85 points to them, and you only scored 71. And then you gave up 83, and you only scored 74. Are you seeing what the problem is there? This team just scored 66 points against one of the worst teams in college basketball. They're not good offensively, and they shot 7 of 17 from 3, and they still only scored in the 60s. If you play good defense tonight, and let's act like we're the coach here. We're talking to the guys. You play good defense tonight. You play the way you're supposed to play. You guard the basketball. You guard the perimeter. You lock down the paint. You force turnovers, and you let them go one and done, and you grab the rebounds. You're going to win this game by double digits. I think we're that much better than them. That's just how I feel. And this is me talking to you now. I just think we're that much better than them. They're not a good team. They're not a good offensive team. They're not a good defensive team. They're just there. And, I mean, look at some of their numbers this season. Yeah, I know they average 75, but they're just not a good offensive team. They're not. I refuse to believe it. They shoot 44% from the floor. Okay. 74% from the free throw line. Okay. They only shoot 33% from behind the arc. Now, if you remember, and if you recall, they caught fire both times they played us. And that's why they beat us, because we can't guard the three-point line. We've done a lot better job since. But in these 2 games, you remember they went 12 of 22 the first time. That's good for almost 55% in the first game here in Bloomington. The second time they played us, as I get that pulled up, their 3-point percentage was 9 of 21 for 43%. So, yeah, they've shot pretty well. And in that game in Happy Valley, we did not shoot the ball well from 3, only 2 of 15 from downtown. So, if we stop them from shooting threes and they don't go ballistic from behind the arc again, we're going to win the game. Offensively, do what we do, whether you have Trey Galloway or not. Right? Whether he's there or not, whether he's 100% or not. We're going to talk about it as if he's probably not. But he very well could be. You still run your offense the same way. You still run it the same way you have been coming down the stretch, right? Through Kel'el Ware and let him do his thing. He needs a double-double tonight. I think he needs 20 points every time he steps on the floor from here on out. He needs over 20 points. He needs over 10 rebounds. Get him some assists as well. If you run the offense through him, he can be your facilitator. He can take the pressure off of your guards, whether Galloway's there or not, right? If Galloway's not there, you're going to have to start Xavier Johnson, and you're going to have to get some really serious production out of him that we've been seeing as of late with him coming off the bench, which I've told you I have loved that aspect of the game where Xavier Johnson doesn't get the start, but he gives you that spark off the bench. I love that. That may not be an option in this game. It may not be an option the rest of the way. I don't know. But you've just got to play your game. Don't take bad shots. Crash the boards. Shoot threes when they're there. Feed it to Mackenzie and Baco outside because he's feeling it right now, I think. And if you can stay out of foul trouble offensively and defensively, Malik Renew, I'm talking to you, you're going to be in a good spot. Penn State cannot hang with you. They can't. They cannot do it. Indiana has too much talent. I'm not going to say too much depth because we don't really have that. This is a 7-man team, really. I mean, especially now in the postseason where a lot of times you see coaches, they shorten that bench anyway when it comes to postseason time just because they've got their guys that they trust and want to play, and they don't want to go any farther than that. We don't have a whole lot of shortening to do because outside of Xavier Johnson off the bench, I mean, who do you got? I mean, you could go to Gunn or Leal or Sparks, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't feel confident about those guys. And that's what's unfortunate too, is for this team to go on a run this week to get to the NCAA tournament, you got to win 4 games in 4 days. That's a lot of basketball on these guys for the starters that are going to be playing no less than 30 minutes a game outside of Gabe Cupps if Galloway is there. But I'm thinking for the guys like Kel'el Ware and Malik Renew and Mackenzie and Baco, who, yeah, those guys are going to be playing a lot of basketball. And conditioning, this is where we find out right? And this is getting off the floor, but the things you eat, the things you drink, the things you do, how you treat your body, the things you're doing in recovery after each game, that's all a moot point if you don't win tonight. But you see what I'm saying here. In this type of setting, you have to take care of yourself, your mind, your body, to make sure you're in the best spot possible to go on a run, because your season's on the line. And that's the biggest key. Play with a little urgency tonight. Play like you know your season's up for grabs. You have to win or you're done. And I have a feeling they're going to play that way. I have a feeling we're going to make something of this tournament. I could be wrong. We could get blown out by Penn State. I don't think that happens. I think we do come in and say, you know what? This season, yeah, we stunk it up. But we're on a 4-game win streak, playing better than, I'd say, most of the teams in this tournament right now. Why not us? That's the question I've been asking. Why not us? I think we can do that. I think we can make that run. Legitimately, do I think we're going to win it? No, but I think we can make a push for it. I think we can scare some people with it. And you know what? People don't want to see Indiana right now. If you win this game against Penn State and you go into the next round or even the next round, people are going to really start turning heads and say, hold up now. We don't want to play that Indiana team. They're hot as fire. You don't want to play them. That's a good team that's been down all year that we took advantage of in the regular season that we just didn't want to mess with again. But here they are hanging around. If you can start to do that, the pieces could fall, and you just never know. Maybe there's an upset on the top part of the bracket and Purdue gets knocked out. Then it's all wide open at that point. But it all starts with this one. You can't even think about the championship or the semifinals or anything like that, the quarters, until you win this one right here against Penn State. Just play your game. It's really that simple. I've said that so many times this year, and when we do it, it works. When we don't, well, we probably lose. And give credit to some teams, but Penn State's not a good enough team to put you out of your rhythm, out of your game, to defend you and play you so hard that you just have no answers. They're not that good to do that. Do your thing. Go through Kel'el Ware, shoot the ball well, make your free throws, please. Make your free throws. It's tournament time. You got to start doing that. Don't turn it over. Turn them over, and we're going to be just fine. I think Indiana wins. I think Indiana wins by double digits tonight over Penn State, because that's what's supposed to happen. That's what happens when these two teams get together on the hardwood, is Indiana wins this game. Not to look ahead, but you have a favorable draw compared to what you could have received, I guess, in this Big Ten tournament. But your season's on the line right now. Win or go home. If Mike Woodson's not preaching that, screaming that, yelling that in the locker room and have it written on every whiteboard possible, then what are we doing? Why are we bringing it back if that's not the message tonight? Play it for you, for the brand, for the fans. There's going to be Indiana fans there. We travel better than most. Do it for us. Do it for them. Do it for Indiana. Hoosiers taking on Penn State tonight. I think we win. That's my pick. I think we win. I think we win by double digits. And I think we're on here again talking about the next game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we can have that. When we come back, though, on the next segment, I want to look at the rest of the Big Ten tournament. How does some college basketball looking around as Champ Week continues around the country? That's coming up on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug in to your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's your opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels, and if you haven't checked these out, they're really, really cool. They deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us here at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels let you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on the latest in the world of sports. March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Today's episode is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. Man, I told my granddad about this, and he loves it. And look, he's not the most computer savvy person in the world, but man, he started using this, and he gets everything from eBay Motors. All the parts, everything he needs, accessories. He doesn't even go to the parts store anymore. He uses eBay Motors, and he absolutely loves it. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors, they've got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, wanted to remind you that coming up on Monday, March 18th, the day after Selection Sunday, you can join Locked On College Basketball for their bracket breakdown show Monday, March 18th at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Experts Andy Patton and Isaac Shade will break down their brackets and discuss everything that you need to know to fill out a winning bracket and prepare for this year's NCAA tournament. Find the Locked On Bracket Breakdown on Monday, March 18th on the Locked On College Basketball Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Speaking of all the brackets and stuff, before we get to Selection Sunday, we've got to still get through Champ Week, and it's been crazy out there, man. It's been awesome. And, man, it's only been through Wednesday, but you've got upsets. You've got teams punching their ticket. How about Cincinnati last night beating a very depleted Kansas team in the second round of the Big 12 tournament? You have teams punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament. There were a couple of championship games last night. How about McNeese for the first time ever heading to the NCAA tournament? That's a 30-win basketball team. I don't care what league you're in. I don't care what opponents you play. I don't care where you play, when you play, how you do it. You win 30 games in a basketball season, that's really impressive. They beat Nichols 92-76. They are heading to the NCAA tournament. Here in the Big Ten, you had Maryland beat up on Rutgers 65-51. Wasn't a great game either. And look, Maryland jumped on them in the first half. It was 36-22 in the first 20 minutes. So wasn't super worried or concerned about that one. And then we mentioned Penn State, of course, beating Michigan. And you look ahead to what's coming up today and what's coming up in the Big Ten for this round. This is when it gets crazy. This Thursday, Friday slate of games is when everything starts getting crazy. And these big conferences, this is when you have 4 games a day for Thursday, Friday. You get to the semis Saturday. Some championship games are on Saturday, and then we'll wrap it up on Sunday. The game to start it off, Minnesota and Michigan State. Michigan State, that's a team that I guess they're not fighting for their lives. I guess they're just in the tournament because why not? Because it's Tom Izzo, right? That's a terrible team, but yet they're still in the tournament pretty comfortably. Makes me really upset because I just don't think they're all that great, and I think they're getting a little bit of love because of who they are, but that's okay. Maryland will play Wisconsin in the next game after that. Shouldn't be anything. Wisconsin's only favored by 3.5, though. We'll see if they can kind of climb out of that hole a little bit that they've been in. How about Ohio State and Iowa, man? This is going to be a really intriguing game. Ohio State favored by 1.5, playing better than they have all season long since they fired their coach, and really just playing with their hair on fire and have absolutely nothing to lose, trying to salvage a season, wreck a couple of more seasons as well. And then Penn State and Indiana play tonight. I'll give you my picks. I'll say Michigan State beats Minnesota just because, I mean, Michigan State's not a bad team. I just don't think they're all that good. And I do think they're getting love in the tournament because of who they are and who their head coach is. And look, we beat them. Like, I'm not worried about that. I don't think they're a tournament team, but I'll take them to beat Minnesota. Maryland, Wisconsin, man, the Badgers have to have this one. Like, they need this win desperately, because you look at their last games. I mean, the back half of the season was brutal for them. 4 losses, 1 win, another loss. So let's see, that's 2-5 right there. Then they went, that would have been 2-7, 3-7, and 3-8. 3-8 in their last 11 games, man. That is not how you want to be going into March. And that was with a 4-point win over that Maryland team. So I don't know, man. Hey, Terrapins could jump up and grab them. You never know. I think I'd be okay with that if Maryland decided they wanted to beat Wisconsin. But I'll take the Badgers to turn it around and pick up a win. And I'm taking the Buckeyes. Why would you not? Why would you not take this Ohio State team right now? Winners of 4 of their last 5, 4 in a row coming in. Their only losses in the last 7 games were at Wisconsin and at Minnesota. They beat Michigan State, Nebraska, Michigan, and Rutgers. So, look, I'm taking that team. They got a win over Purdue in that stretch as well. And I think that's a good team, man. I think they were very undercoached, I think. And that's a dangerous team. That Ohio State squad is a home wrecker. Let me tell you, man, I don't want to mess with them. I think they beat Iowa. I think that's a fun game tonight. And then I already told you what I think about ours. I think Indiana beats Penn State. I think we beat them by double digits. I think we're just better. I think we're playing better. I think we have more to play for. And I think I know our season's on the line. And I think we play really well. I hope everybody's healthy. We'll see the status of Trey Galloway. And we will have a reaction episode going up tonight regardless, whether it be a win or a loss. We talk about the end of the season. I don't think we do that. I think we're talking about the next game. Video will go live tonight. Audio will be live first thing tomorrow morning. Hoosiers and the Nittany Lions tonight in the Big Ten tournament. Enjoy watching it. Enjoy all the basketball today. I'll talk to you again tonight and tomorrow on the next episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Until then, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.